Right, have I got volume on? Can you hear me? Right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fab. Tell it's the summer holidays, I'm not quite with it. Oh, there's people. Lots of people.
Hi guys!
Hi. Alright. Okay, shall I just start? Because that might be easier.
Oh,
yeah. And if other people join, then join. Alright, so. Evening, everybody. How are we all doing? It's been a little bit warmer today, hasn't it? I've got some washing done. My kids are going mental, which is the reason I'm upstairs again, because they're hogging the downstairs. So have you all got pens and paper and we're all ready? Fab. Not going to be too scary, I promise. Oh, hello, there's the moan. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen in a minute, but first of all, the training tonight's based on this fabulous book, Mind Makeover, which Ali very kindly gave to me at the roadshow that we went to. And I've read through it and it's absolutely incredible. It teaches you a lot about actually changing the way you see yourself, changing your perception of a lot of things. So I thought I'd do a little bit of training on it. And then if anyone wants to read it. So I'm going to try and share this. Hopefully it's going to work. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping. Right, there's a fire with it. Right, can you see that all right? Fab. So the book's called The Mind Makeover, but I titled this Motivation Makeover because it's quite motivational. So get it going. Make over your mind to go from where you are now to where you want to be. Obviously, our body is very much about personal development and changing your mindset and thinking very differently about lots of different things. Certainly, it's taken my journey from where I was to where I want, where I am, where I was, to where I want to be in the future. So there's different ways of motivation. There's one section which is using desperation as motivation, which is basically, have you missed out on something? Okay, have you allowed someone else to determine your self-worth? Are you limiting your beliefs? And have you experienced something you don't want to experience again? So that's the desperation part. Often that will make us go, oh, I'm really desperate for this to happen. So that's our motivation to do something else. So you can do this now if you want, or you can do this a little bit later. But it's just something I thought it was good to think about. It says to make a bucket list. It doesn't have to be a monetary bucket list, but it can be something like you really want to change your life. How would you like your life to be? So, for example, what sort of new experiences would you create or embrace? I know for me, one of my bucket list things was Las Vegas, and I got to go to that. So that was really good. But it could be that on your bucket list might be next year I'm going to be an AIT level 4 achiever. Next year I'm going to be in Arizona. Next year I'm going to do this. Or it could be something simple as next year I'm going to, I don't know, Danny buy a house. You know, that's on her bucket list. It could be somebody's going to do something in a job, something with children. So who or what is a drain on your positive energy? How can you stop that? Maybe you take up a new hobby. Maybe you'd like to travel somewhere. So your bucket list doesn't have to be, I want to win the lottery, I want £1 million. It could just be something to do with improving your life in general. So you don't have to do that now. This isn't the interactive part of it, but I included that because it's really good motivator. If there's something you really want, think about how you're going to get there. How are you actually going to tick that bucket list thing off? So you don't have to wait for the pivotal moment. You can decide to change right now. I quite like that quote, actually. You don't have to wait for a massive thing. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's my moment. You can actually decide, well, I'm going to do it now. Whenever the pivotal moment happens, you'll know. So there's a different type of motivation now, using inspiration as motivation. So inspiration is the feeling from when you have achieved something, when someone around you has achieved something, or when you are about to achieve something. For a lot of us, that would be when we're about to promote, when we go into qual. when we've signed up our first IC, when we've promoted our first DM, something like that. It could be that it's you've sold your first 30 days pack. You know, you get a buzz from that. You get a buzz from selling stuff. And something that, like with a body cleanse, the first time you do a body cleanse, you achieve it. It's something you've not done before. And also, inspiration is adrenaline, passion, and enthusiasm, something we definitely all need with this business. So, first thing to think about then, personal inspirational experiences. Okay, why did these experiences motivate you to take action? What results did you achieve, and what did you learn? Just something to think about. Again, this is just something you can think about now, or you can think about later, but it all links into this sort of training. So think about something that's been really inspirational to you, and how did it give you that extra push? How did it make you go, yeah, I want to do even more? And what did you learn from it? So there's lots of things that I can think of with personal inspiration experiences. So when I went into area qual and things like that, it's like, wow, that's motivated me to actually complete area, because if you're going into qual, you may as well complete it as quick as you can. So that was the results that I achieved, and I learned I can do whatever I want to do if I put my mind to it. The same with desperation. So if there was something you was really holding you back and you were desperate to do, how did that differ from the inspiration? So how did the desperation differ from the inspiration? So it's the same sort of thing. So learning from experiences. I'm going to find the page in the book as well. Yeah, I didn't find it. Where has it gone? 1 minute. Okay. So, a quote from the book: remember, you don't have to wait for something desperate to happen in your life to get into the state of peak motivation. You can create this level of motivation to get a phenomenal life for yourself in the exact same moment you make a decision to. Wouldn't now be the perfect time to begin? So I think that's perfect quote for Arbonne, to be honest, because you really make a decision to change your life once you sign up and once you become a consultant. So which would you say, think about it, which has the most impact? Do you think a desperation situation or an inspiration? So something you really wanted to get out of, that have the most impact, or something that was an inspiration? So when you promoted, did that have an impact? Which one do you think had the most impact? So this is now your interactive bit. Are we ready? So we're going to test your attitude, because I love this quote at the top. It is your attitude, not aptitude, that determines your altitude. I thought that's amazing. So it's the way you think, not what you actually do, that determines how high you fly. So if your attitude is one of you want to succeed, it doesn't matter how you do it, you're going to do it if that's your attitude. If your attitude is, oh well, you know, I'll do it, I'll see how I go. Doesn't matter what you do, if your attitude isn't there, you're not going to fly as high as you can. So I really love that quote. I thought that was amazing. So I'm going to read the questions out. I'll read them fairly slowly. So there's, for each question, there's part A and part B. So if you just write down whether you are A or whether you are B for each statement that I'm going to read, and then at the end we'll score it and you'll see what your attitude actually is. So number 1, people just have to accept me as I am, and what you see is what you get. That's A. B is, I adjust my attitude to match the person I'm with and the situation I'm in. So I'll read them again. A is, people just have to accept me as I am, and what you see is what you get. Or B, I adjust my attitude to match the person I'm with and the situation I'm in. So choose whether you're A or B. Number 2, A, I always have a choice about my attitude and behaviour. Or B, my attitude is fixed and was formed years ago. It's too late to change. So A, I always have a choice about my attitude and behaviour. My attitude is fixed. Sorry, that was A. And B, my attitude is fixed and was formed years ago. Too late to change. So are you A or are you B? Number 3, A, if I change my attitude, I can bring about changes in other people and circumstances. And B, people and things will be as they're going to be whatever I do. So A, if I change my attitude, I can bring about changes in other people and circumstances. B, people and things will be as they're going to be, whatever I do. Okay, 4, my feelings and attitudes are what they are and out of my control. Or B, I fully control my attitude and what happens to me. So A, my feelings and attitudes are what they are and are out of my control. B, I fully control my attitude and what happens to me. Okay, number 5. Ooh. My attitude is a major factor in my success and happiness. Or B, my attitude is a minor factor in my success and happiness. So A, my attitude is a major factor in my success and happiness. Or B, my attitude is a minor factor in my success and happiness. Number 6, I believe other people are the main cause of my problems. Or B, I believe I cause my own problems and I'm responsible for the solution. So A, I believe other people are the main cause of my problems. Or B, I believe I cause my own problems and I'm responsible for the solutions. Number 7, my attitudes and characteristics were fixed from an early age. Or B, my attitude and characteristics will change and evolve throughout my life. A, my attitude and characteristics were fixed from an early age. Or B, my attitude and characteristics will change and evolve throughout my life. Number 8, A, I can grow from failure. Or B, when I fail, there is no gain. So A, I can grow from failure. B, when I fail, there is no gain. 2 to go. Number 9, A, I live in the day and let my future happen. Or B, I consciously plan my future in advance. So A, I live in the day and let my future happen. Or B, I consciously plan my future in advance. And last one, number 10. A, my thoughts come out in all I do and say. Or B, my thoughts are private and hidden from others. So A, my thoughts come out in all I do and say. And B, my thoughts are private and hidden from others. Okay, so score sheet. So obviously you don't have to reveal what you've got. So those are the score sheets. So for 1, if you answered B, you get 1 point. A is 0. 2, you get 1 point for A, nothing for B. 3, 1 point for A, nothing for B. 4, nothing for A, 1 point for B. 5, 1 point for A, nothing for B. 6, nothing for A, 1 point for B. 7, nothing for A, 1 point for B. 8, 1 point for A, nothing for B. 9, nothing for A, 1 for B. And finally 10 is 1 for A and nothing for B. So if you top them up quickly, and I will reveal what everybody is. But if you want to pop it in the chat, you can do, but there's no need to share it. It's more for you to kind of see where your attitude is. Okay, so how did you score? If you got 8 to 10, you have a positive attitude and are conscious of your attitude and how it affects your happiness and success and how it affects your outcomes. If you got 5 to 7, at times you're aware of the power and role of your attitude. Aim to develop that into a consistent positive attitude. If you got less than 5, you will benefit from questioning your thoughts and then see how it impacts on your future happiness and success. So hopefully that was, it's quite good for me actually when I did it, because I thought, oh yeah, do you know what? I need to change that. So I scored the 5 to 7, I'll be completely honest. I didn't get the 8 to 10, I scored in the 5 to 7. Because I think sometimes my attitude does go a little bit, well, if people think this of me, then that's okay. So I need to overcome that. So I, I'm hands on the line. There we go. So I didn't quite get the full score, but so moving on to iceberg theory. I think we've all seen something a little bit about the iceberg theory before. So what's below the surface are your thoughts, and it powers what's above the surface, which is your actions. Okay, so the pivotal question, do you think your personal attitude brings you emotions of happiness, joy, and fulfillment often? Sorry, always, often, occasionally, rarely, or never. You don't need to write anything down, just think. So do you think your personal attitude brings you happiness, joy, fulfillment all the time, most of the time, sometimes, hardly ever, or never? Okay, so that's what the iceberg theory is. So everything that's obviously people see are your thoughts, but it's all powered by what's underneath the surface. So linking to that, it's time to compliment yourself. How many times do you compliment yourself in a day, do you think? So think of a time maybe when you were critical of yourself, because it's really important to try and compliment yourself. And actually what you say about yourself, thinking about attitudes as well, being critical, thinking about she'll never get that promotion because she's got a terrible attitude. I returned the dress to the shop, but the sales assistant was rude and has an appalling attitude. He's got such a negative attitude, it will never work out. You know what? I'll tell you what, I've gone ahead a bit too quickly. Get back a page. Summer holidays, sorry. So then how often do you hear attitude being spoken about in a positive way? He's got a phenomenal attitude. She's got such a positive attitude, she lights up a room. She's got a magnetic attitude and just keeps attracting success and good things to her. So when you're thinking about attitude, how often do you think positively of your own attitude or somebody else's? So somebody in your team maybe, do you think, oh, do you know what, their attitude's not quite what it should be? Or do you think, yeah, everyone on my team has got an absolutely amazing attitude? Or some people in general, so when you go on holiday, I don't know, Danny, you were on holiday last week, did you think about the waiters and waitresses, people at the hotel having a really good attitude? When you go to work, you know, those people with sort of 9-to-5 jobs, corporate jobs, what do you think of the attitude of everybody there? And how does that affect you as well? Because then you think how your attitude might affect other people. All right, now we can move on to the iceberg theory. Skipped ahead a little bit too quick. Okay, so complimenting yourself then. So think of a time when you were critical of yourself. So when would you say, oh, do you know what? I don't really like myself in this dress, or something in this book that made me chuckle. My body looks like it needs ironing. Sometimes what the Genius Ultra's for, isn't it? Ironing the face. I appreciate, rather than sort of saying I appreciate my body for all the wonderful things it does for me, you might think, oh, do you know what? I've got a bit of cellulite on my legs. I've got a bit of a lump and a bump here, and we're not always complimentary of ourselves. Are we more critical of ourselves? So think of a time when you have actually complimented yourself. How many times in a day do you go, oh yeah, do you know what? Actually, I feel really quite good today. Are you more critical or are you more complimentary of yourself? I'm guilty again of being quite critical. I'll put on something and go, no, I don't really like the look of me in this, so I get changed. Maybe I shouldn't get changed. Maybe I shouldn't worry about what other people think, but I'm far more critical of myself than I should be. And I don't compliment myself nearly enough. So I think it's a good habit to get into, to be really, really complimentary about ourselves. If you think critically, try and change it into a positive. So if you're thinking negative, change it into a positive. Okay, think about, oh, I don't know if this dress really looks good, but actually, I love the colour. Try and change it into something like that. So the last bit I'm going to get you to do is, again, with your pen and paper, describe yourself in 10 words. Although for part of this, you might need to use more than 10 words. So 2 words for how you look. Could be I'm tall, I'm short, I'm healthy, I'm young, I'm old, I'm fabulous, I'm gorgeous, something like that. For me at the minute, exhausted. How you act. 2 words for how you act. It could be, all right, grumpy, I'm smiley, I'm critical, I'm angry, I'm happy. Characteristics. 2 words for characteristics. Examples could be I'm patient, I'm organised, I'm messy, I'm assertive, I'm kind, I'm honest. Skills and knowledge. You might need to use more than 2 words here, because it could be something like I'm a good learner, I'm a poor cook, I'm a great presenter, I'm very hands-on. I'm slow at picking up new things. It could be negative, could be positive. And then 2 words to describe your attitude. So I'll just give you a minute or so. Just think of a couple of words for each of those things. Try and describe yourself in just 10 words, although, like I said, that other one you can use more than 2 words for part 4. So I can hear my kids going loopy downstairs. I do. How are we doing? We got a 10. Okay, so once you've done your 10, they've not quite finished it, don't worry. But if you've done your 10, have a look how many of those words are positive and how many are negative words. Because that shows how you see yourself. If they're all positive, that's absolutely amazing because it shows that you've really got a lot of confidence in yourself. If you've got a few negatives in there, like me, I would have some negatives in there as well because I don't always see the best side of me, but that's absolutely okay. It's then trying to work out how you can change the negative into the positive. And I think, to be honest, with this business, personal development is so important, and we really need to try and kind of go on the positive side rather than the negative side, because I think if you go on a negative side, you emit negative energy, and then that can just come over in your whole persona. So I think it's a good exercise to try and sort of think about how you can turn negatives into positives and actually be kind to yourself. So the last bit I'm going to quote from the book is, don't expect results if you don't inspect your actions and the actions of others, yet know when to stop, as too much analysis gives paralysis. I thought that was actually really, really good, because it's all about success. It's all about attitude, and don't expect results if you don't look at your actions and the actions of others. So that's all about attitude, and know when to stop, because if you analyze it too much, it can actually put you into a state of paralysis, almost in a state of like, stop. Okay, you can't go any further. So it shows how the iceberg theory really is all the actions underneath just lead to your thoughts on the top. So short but sweet. Anybody want to unmute and say anything at all?
Hi, Lee. Yeah, I would, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I absolutely loved the training. I know you probably couldn't see the chat, but the chat was going crazy. I loved it. I thought it was all brilliant, as everybody else
didn't see it. I was like sharing, going, I can't see anything.
Yeah. No, you'll be able to read it back in a second.
Okay.
I thought that was brilliant. I scored 9, which obviously was quite high when you said it. And then when I wrote out all the 10 words and the sentences, it was all positive, which obviously sounds great. But actually, that's 5 years of me doing personal development. And in those 5 years, I've probably read about 200 personal development books, and obviously been on all these calls and been to the conferences. So when I think back to 5 years ago, if you had done this same training,
yeah,
scored a 0. Like, I was listening to the questions, I was thinking what I say now would have been different 5 years ago, and the words that I would have written for the 10 would have been completely different.
Yeah.
So I was just putting in the comments going like, yeah, I'm super positive now, like, and I feel like I have got a really good attitude now, but I didn't. And all of that is because of the personal development from Arbonne.
Yeah.
So I was saying in the chat, like, that has been priceless. Like, obviously I earn good money from my Arbonne business, but if you took that away, I'm still left with a massive gain because of what it's done for me and my attitude. And I actually really like who I am now. Like, I feel really comfortable to say, like, I'm beautiful, I'm happy, I'm a nice person. But 5 years ago, I would never, ever, ever have said that. I'd be like, I'm ugly, I'm not a good person. I'd have said so many negative things. So that training was brilliant. I only wish I'd heard that training when I first started Arbonne.
I mean, that book is absolutely incredible. That's only literally a tip of the iceberg. There we go. It's only a little tiny bit of what was in it. It's absolutely amazing. I've read it. I'm going to read it again as well in a sort of a month's time, so I can digest it again. But yeah, it goes through so much, and my attitude is still a little bit negative in some respects, a bit like I suppose you were 5 years ago. It's amazing how it does change you. And I think the more you can go from a negative into a positive, the better, because you just improve yourself so much. And the more you tell yourself, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, the more you believe it. And I said, it's because you've spent those 5 years of telling yourself, yes, I can do it, I'm developing myself, you've actually developed yourself, and you can now say, yes, I am. So yeah, I think it's just an absolutely amazing, amazing book. So yeah, I thought it's a perfect training to do, because we do so much on mindset and we do so much on vision and things like that, and it's tying it all together with attitude. And attitudes, I think, the key to it all. If your attitude's right, you'll go so far.
I think, is Kalina, are you waiting to say something?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for the training. I loved it. I was kind of last minute. I was like, am I missing something now? But I managed to get in last minute. Thank you. It was so interesting. And what I wanted to say was that I haven't, for the past year, I have kind of focused on myself, because I was so negative prior that things happening in life, and I hated myself. I hated the way I felt. I hated the way I felt my boyfriend, how I made him feel.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that I just didn't want to make new friends. I moved to Belgium, new country, and this and that. I was just so focused on just myself and my just sitting in a corner. And I wasn't reading books, but I was just watching a lot of things on YouTube. And the difference between now and like what I was like 1 year ago is just huge. And it wasn't even intentional. It was just like videos of just random videos of start seeing and watching, and it's like it made me reflect on myself. I reflect a lot on myself and what I do, and my confidence has grown. Obviously there's still room for improvement, but there is so much more to learn. But so far I've learned already so much in the space of 1 year without even intentionally focusing on working. And it's just, I think reflecting is quite a good one, to reflect on your feelings and how you feel and situations. And I want to continue working on personal development. I find it's very important. The way I see the world now is completely different, and the way I see myself in the world, my place. So it's, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay.
I did score 9, by the way. I forgot to say.
Oh, okay, no, that's all right. That's bad.
And it's all down to this past year.
Yeah. I think the more you read, the more you just improve. Because when I first started, honestly, I thought really badly of myself, and I still care too much about what other people think, although it's becoming less now. But the more books you read, and you can resonate with something in that book, and you take that bit of the book, and then you might read another book that doesn't really resonate, but then you read another one that does. It's all about finding the best books, and sometimes I've had to read a book 2 or 3 times to really kind of get it. But when you do, it's so powerful. It's amazing. Yeah.
I think what's the worst thing for me is overthinking.
Yeah.
That raises anxiety and makes you, I just now, when I want to do something, when I want to contact somebody that hasn't replied to me about Arbonne, and I start to overthink, and I don't know, do it, 2 seconds, just do it now. And I do it. And I try to go with the next one, and I stop, like, I just have to literally race. I cannot let myself overthink, because it's, and still learning, but I try to kind of find my best way to work things around, because I cannot let that take over me.
Fab. Right. Anybody else got anything to say before I say goodbye? And go and check my kids haven't completely destroyed the downstairs of my house.
Can I ask, is Jacqueline Hampson on Instagram? Can't find you. I'm trying to tag you all.
Yeah, no, I am. Positively Jack.
Oh, that's why I can't find you then. That was my only question.
Now, have you taken a photo of a decent screenshot of me, not like with my eyes closed? Honestly, I tend every time I do a screenshot, it's got me half eyes closed or something. Yeah, it's terrible. The freeze frame is a nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Who's watched the call from today, either live or watched the recording?
I watched most of it. I was just driving Josh to see his friends. I thought, oh, I'll take the phone. It's all right. I'll pop it in the car. And the minute we drove through where his dad lives, the signal died completely. I was like, oh no. So I saw most of it, but I just missed the last few minutes. Yeah, it was amazing.
Jacqueline, you were on it live, weren't you?
I was, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was really, really good. Who was asking about her shoes? I was like,
that was Jen, I think.
Bizarre. Yeah, no, it was good. And it was good to get a feel for her as a person as well. And she seems really straightforward. I mean, I think she's got a creative flair to her. But, I mean, obviously business-like. But, yeah, she seemed really fair and straight down the line.
Yeah.
Which is
Loved our team.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Yeah, you can tell that.
Never done a Zoom with anybody else.
I thought it was really sweet at the end when she wanted to stay for the recognition part. She was like, no, I want to listen to this. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because I'd organised it, because obviously I was the host, so I should have done the recognition, but I thought, I was like, I don't really want to spend like 20 minutes of the time with her doing recognition, and then we've not got along with her. So I organised it for Kelly Bromley to do it at the end, and I was like, I'll just come off. And that was what I was planning on doing. And when she was like, I want to stay, I was like, oh, I was like, okay, I was like, that's fine.
So I like watching your expressions, Danny, when someone's talking beside you.
What was I like?
No, you do, but you can also see in your mind, you're just thinking of, oh yeah, okay, remember that for future. Oh yeah. Watch your eyes, don't even watch the replay, just spend some time watching Danny's face. There was some beautiful moments.
No, while we're on this topic, what everybody should do is go back to the replay when Sammy completed area and we announced it on the call, and Jacqueline was like this. She was just like making notes, and it was like, Sammy's gone over. She was like,
yes! Oh. Touche.
so funny.
You see, I might be making notes, but the radar's going.
Yeah.
Scanning for the radar, yeah.
Has anyone else watched it today or not? I know it's only been up for a couple of hours.
I've only just started, but I had to join the live, so the Zoom, so I had to pause it. But I will go back to it in a minute. Well, when we're finished.
Let us know in the chat when you've all watched it what you thought. Let me know if you can tell how nervous I am. I was so nervous, but I loved it. But I was really nervous. I was a bit like, oh my gosh.
You didn't seem nervous the first few minutes that I watched. I don't know. As I said, I didn't watch the end, but you just seem like your usual self. Giddy, happy.
Yeah, Danny, you look like you were having fun.
Always excited, buzzing.
Yeah.
I will watch and I'll let you know.
Aww.
Everyone's like, I'm going to watch it now. So the chat's probably going to go crazy in about 20 minutes, but everyone.
I was actually just rewriting my go-kart. My go-kart. And I had it written down. It was through one of the audios that the link you sent me. I was just listening to it, and I was just rewriting it to be nice and neat. So I will do that on WhatsApp today.
So, Kalina, you're in the 8 to be great still, aren't you? That's where you.
Yes.
So if anybody doesn't know, so the 8 to be great is still running. If anyone's not in it at the minute, I'm running this week, which is week 6, and I've offered this to everybody in the 8 to be great, and I'm more than happy to offer this to everybody else if you want to do this, optional. And that is for the next 7 days to send me a voice note. You can either do it on WhatsApp, Messenger, like doesn't matter, however you want to do it, and voice note me your goal card. So what Jerry Rosenthal says is if you send somebody you doing your voice note every single day for 7 days, you will notice a spike in your business. So this is what I've said to everybody on the 8 to be great line. I'm happy to take the time to listen to everybody's goal card for the next 7 days. And if anybody else wants to do it, all you need to do is just voice note me. Today's day 1, so just get it done by tonight. Your goal card, just read it out, and then tomorrow do it again, Wednesday do it again for 7 days straight, so Monday to next week. So anyone is welcome to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll send it on the chat, Simone, what a gold card is. I'll put it in the Q&A.
Yay. Oh. Right. Are we done? Do you want me to stop?
No.
Yes, I'm you leave me talking to Taylor. Where do we stop the recording?
You don't.
And just put leave meeting.
Actually stupid. You're actually stupid.
Oh,
You don't know how to stop recording.
no, the trouble is. Right, there we go.
What's my business?
Right. See you later, everybody.
I don't think everyone wants to know about my business.
Bye.